and then have enough time at the end of the day to paint underneath it. You know, at least where the carpet is. Boom, boom. At the end, boom, boom. So that they don't have to have any of that stuff where the carpet is. So I don't have to paint anything over the carpet if I don't have to. Worst case scenario. So if I have to, I do. And so I'm just trying to think strategically today about all this stuff. So with that mini roller, you can just get it on nicer, especially the areas where you're going to see more so than others. See, this one you're going to see all the time. That one there you're going to see all the time. The ones where the window stools are, usually you have a mini blind here or something. Well, she's thinking about putting shutters, and the shutters, you know, those plantation shutters, it actually has a trim that goes on the outside here. So there's shutters right here, right? When it comes down, the shutter, the whole thing basically covers this up. You've got a trim piece on the bottom. So most of this window stool is not going to show. The only bit that's going to show is like there. Do you see what I'm saying? And the same thing in the back. If she puts the plantation shutter on this one, okay, same type of deal. You got a bottom track that's yay wide. I don't know how wide it is, but there's something down here in the bottom track, and it faces on the outside of here because the trim comes out a couple inches onto your wall all the way around. It's going to look nice when it's up. We'll show you that later after it gets installed. So again, you're only going to see it a little bit here, and then if the trim base piece is yay wide, then you're going to see this little bit. You're going to see that little bit and that little bit of the window stool. So that kind of defeats my purpose of wanting to run my my mini roller on these window stools, right? Because you're not really going to see but this much later. And so what I'm going to do now that I'm talking about it, thinking about it, on the window stools, for the windows, I'm going to use just my paintbrush, and I'm going to get it on there. I'm going to do a really good job anyways. Okay, I'm going to use that for the two windows. But when I do these, I'll get the paint on with my 2.5 inch paintbrush, this same paintbrush that I'm going to use for the window stools. But after I get it all done, then I'm going to have the mini roller with not a whole lot of paint on the mini roller. Okay, I'm just going to use the mini roller over the top surface of this at the end and get it up there as close as I can so that this looks all nice and even, Steven. Okay, and I'll do that. I'll do that for this, the mini roller for this, and the mini roller for that. That's going to look sweet when it gets done. Trust me. Okay, so that's what I'll do with that. And here's one more thing I got to paint. Gee, dabbity nabbit. This little cabinet right in here. I really don't want to do this over the carpet later, but I got a little bit of work in here too. This I haven't even touched yet. This was the paint that was in here from before, the tannish color, and they just used flat paint. I don't know why they did that, but they did. And so I'm going to use the eggshell paint here, the eggshell finish. It's a double click eggshell is the finish. It's a little toned down from semi-gloss. Okay, so I'm going to use that through this whole thing. So I need to do that today too, and I think maybe I should do that one of the first things to get that out of the way. I can get that out of the way after I can either do that first and then do the white window stools after that, and then come back. I think maybe I'll do it that way because I'm going to use the eggshell finish on all of these. Then when all of this stuff is dry, then I'm going to do just the top of each one of these. I'm going to use this semi-gloss because I have it, and because it'll just give this a nice finished surface on the top of there. Okay, We got a little pantry down in the kitchen. I'm gonna end up doing the same thing. It's the same type of thing like that, just to give it a little bit more durability, more washability, and more, it'll just last longer, okay? And so I've got that to do today too. I already spent another previous day doing all the cut-in, way up high. I did all the cut-in and all the inside corners. I wanted to do everything on down to where I only had to worry about cut-in on the walls above the doors, where I finished off the doors yesterday, and then the baseboards and around the door frames. See, okay. So there's my day, and I'm starting to realize it's going to be a long day. It's going to be a long day. I don't care how fast you can paint. It just takes time, because you got to take your time to a certain extent around the door casings, around the edges of the door casings, around the tops of your baseboards. Do a good job. And if you've never done it before, you can do it. Just do some practice. Go into a closet and try your hand in the closet first to give yourself a little bit of practice. And then I'll probably end up starting in this closet. And until you get the hang of which direction you want to go. Is it best for you to go from left to right or from right to left? There's a difference for some people. It's easier than other from right to left. But in my case, I have a feeling I'm going to be better starting from left to right, so I can look on the left. But we'll just see. We'll just see how it works, and maybe I'll get tired after a while and then say, no, I'm going to do from right to left next time. And no matter what, if you're better from left to right, guess what? When you start from the left, when you get over so far, you're going to have to finish this piece of base from right to left, no ifs, ands, or buts. So you got to get used to backhanding your paintbrush, forehanding your paintbrush, and tweaking your head and figuring out how am I going to get this. The VideoJoe's told me he's using that little paintbrush. How am I going to use this paintbrush in order to not get any in here, especially when you got an inside corner, when you got a little bit from the left, when you got a little bit from the right to go over here before you do the rest of it? How am I going to do that? Figure it out. You just, if there's ways to do it, and I believe today my best friend is going to be this little 2-inch hand brush right here with the angled, see how it's angled like that? You don't want, I don't want flat straight across. I want it angled, okay? It's easier to use the very tip of your angle on the inside corners and to go from top down to grab that little corner right there where the two intersect. See how this paintbrush angles? That's the kind you want for cut-in. See how this angles? Look at that. It's the same angle. Okay? Straight across would be about right there. It's hard to give you an idea. Maybe you can see it better there. See how it angles like that? And that's what you want to use, and that's what I'm going to use for most of this. And check it out. Most of it, I'm going to use this little thing right here. It's just a takeout little container for food, and I'm going to use that. I'm just going to pour a little bit in there. There's my paint tray for most of the day. I can just slide it along the floor. How hard is that? I use this one here for ceilings and up on walls when I'm way up high on a ladder. I use that and hold it like this. See, like that, and then dip and go there. But on the floor, I don't need that. And plus, it's a little unstable. If you bump it just right, you could tip it over. So and it's deeper. You got to dip your brush in there without getting it all on the edges, way up high. I don't like to do that. And so I just put a little bit in the bottom there. Ka-doink, ka-doink. Wipe it off, ka-doink. You don't have to get You don't have to get but this much paint on there. Okay? If you get paint all the way up to the top here, and you're continually having it drip here, and this is hard to clean out, you're painting, your technique is wrong. You pretty much only want to use from here to about there as you're going back and forth. You don't have to go, you don't have to have a full thing of paint and dip it all the way down in there. You know, if this thing was, if I use this, I don't like to fill it up but more than 1.5 inches at a time. I don't want to fill that up, you know, 2.5, 3 inches. Then I've got a hard time gauging how far to dip this in without oops, you know, and or sliding it down here or whatever. You know, so there's a time to use this, there's a time to use that. There's a time to use it right out of the 1 gallon paint can, but I very seldom will work out of a gallon can. I'd much prefer using just a paint tray with the throwaways. I can use my mini roller in there. I can use this to slide along and, you know, to paint all my base. If I didn't have this throwaway container, goodbye. I just use my paint tray. Okay? Here's another throwaway container that I ended up using. This one I used for the semi-gloss paint. Okay? And then after I didn't use that, I just let it dry. I don't wash that out, just let it dry. Now I can put more paint in there. I can put whatever in there, as long as that's 100% dry over a couple days. I can put a different color in there. If you put a different color in this the very next day, it could bleed through there. You might not want to do that. But if it was the same color, and if I was using this the very next day with semi-gloss the same color, I could use it for the next day. Just don't swish it too hard at the bottom and rummy up the bottom stuff, because that's what happened with this one day. I used this for a second day, and this whole bottom thing after a while started sliding around. But usually I just dip a little bit and then run it off the side anyway, so I never get to the bottom. Okay? And so if I have 2 or 3 colors to work with, now I've got 2 or 3 different options to work with during the same day, don't I? Okay? All right, enough talking. It's time to get busy. Now here's a quick tip for you. Have your sponge ready, have your water ready, and as you're cutting in your wall down to the baseboard, your wall up to the door casings, if you happen to tag your door casing a little bit with some paint, or on an inside corner of the baseboard, or way down in there, let's say you have a hard time getting that little piece in there of the wall without getting any on the white, just make sure you have a damp sponge handy and wipe it off the baseboard. The baseboard and the door jambs are already nicely, freshly painted, but they've been cured for a couple of days, and you can wipe stuff off of there. You don't have to worry about, oh shoot, get a rag, try to smear it on there and it doesn't get it all, and you think now you've got to touch up the white door casings or the white baseboard. You know, just have your water ready and have a sponge and you're good to go.